He conquered empires without razing cities, freed captives instead of enslaving them, and ruled with policies that echo through history. This is how Cyrus the Great governed an empire.
The Rise and Fall of the Persian Empire, Part 5. The Governance Philosophy of Cyrus. By the mid-6th century BCE, Cyrus the Great stood as the most powerful man on earth. He had overthrown the Medes, defeated the richest king of his time in Lydia, and walked into Babylon without bloodshed. But what's most extraordinary is not just what he conquered, it's how he ruled. Because, unlike most ancient emperors, Cyrus did not seek to dominate through fear. He governed through respect, order, and unity. And that's why his empire, the Achaemenid Empire, not only endured, but became a blueprint for all that followed. Let's consider the scale of what Cyrus faced. He ruled millions of people, from the plains of Anatolia to the mountains of Central Asia. His empire included dozens of ethnic groups, languages, religions, and social systems. There were Greeks, Jews, Babylonians, Medes, Elamites, Syrians, Persians, Egyptians, Scythians, and many more, each with their own customs, gods, and laws. Other empires before him had controlled through sheer brutality. The Assyrians, for example, used terror, mass deportations, and public executions to maintain order. But Cyrus, he offered something radically different. He didn't want submission through fear. He wanted loyalty through stability. To maintain control across such a vast realm, Cyrus established a new way of governing, one that would define Persian administration for centuries. He divided the empire into satrapies, provincial regions. Each satrapy was governed by a satrap, or regional governor. These satraps had autonomy over local affairs, but they reported directly to the king and his court in Pasargadae, later Persepolis. It was a delicate balance of central control and local freedom. Cyrus didn't micromanage every province. Instead, he respected local traditions while keeping a clear chain of command. This model would later inspire the Romans, the Ottomans, and even modern federal governments. It was efficient, it was scalable, and most importantly, it worked. Cyrus also introduced uniform taxation based on wealth and productivity. This prevented overburdening any single group. He didn't crush economies, he enabled them. Trade routes were secured, infrastructure was improved. Markets expanded across regions that once viewed each other as enemies. The rule of law, too, was standardized. But rather than imposing Persian customs on everyone, Cyrus allowed each region to maintain its own legal traditions, as long as they didn't conflict with imperial stability. This flexibility encouraged cultural survival and fostered trust in the central government. More than administration, it was Cyrus's policy of tolerance that truly set him apart. He didn't destroy temples. He didn't ban languages. He didn't outlaw religions. In fact, he did the opposite. In Babylon, after his peaceful entry, Cyrus publicly declared respect for Marduk, the chief Babylonian deity. He restored shrines, reinstated displaced priests, and treated religious leaders not as threats, but as partners in governance. This approach wasn't just good ethics, it was brilliant politics. By respecting the beliefs of others, Cyrus didn't just conquer territory, he won hearts and minds. Perhaps the most famous act of Cyrus's tolerance was his treatment of the Jewish people. After decades of captivity under Babylonian rule, thousands of Jews lived in exile, unable to return to their homeland. Cyrus changed that. He issued a royal decree allowing them to go back to Jerusalem. He didn't stop there. He funded the rebuilding of their temple, returned sacred artifacts, and gave them imperial protection. To understand how unique Cyrus was, we must compare him to other rulers of the era. The Assyrians, once dominant, were infamous for burning cities and deporting populations. Even the Greeks, who came later, often imposed cultural superiority on others. But Cyrus, he saw strength in diversity. He believed that people would serve him not because they had to, but because they benefited from his rule. His empire wasn't a patchwork of resentful subjects. It was a mosaic, carefully maintained, beautifully complex, and remarkably stable. Of course, Cyrus wasn't naive. He understood the need for loyalty and control. So he created a postal system across his empire, a series of relay stations and mounted couriers to deliver messages rapidly over long distances. He established spies, known to later Greeks as the king's eyes and ears. These agents traveled in secret, ensuring governors and satraps remained loyal and just. He maintained a standing army, but didn't use it recklessly. The military supported diplomacy, not domination. Cyrus ruled like a chess master, always thinking several moves ahead. What made Cyrus's governance work so well wasn't just the systems he built. It was the man himself. He was known to dress simply, eat modestly, and treat his servants with respect. He traveled his empire, met with commoners, and listened to complaints personally. So, unlike kings who isolated themselves in palaces, Cyrus stayed connected, and people remembered that. Even those who once fought against him came to admire him, and those who served under him, they didn't just fear him, they trusted him. Today, over 2,500 years later, Cyrus remains a symbol of just leadership. In modern Iran, his tomb in Pasargadae is a place of pride. Each year, thousands visit to honor the memory of the king who united their ancestors. In the West, historians marvel at his policies. In religious texts, he is praised as a liberator. In international law, his example is studied as a precursor to human rights. Few leaders in history are admired by such a wide range of cultures, ancient and modern, East and West, religious and secular. That's not coincidence. That's legacy. Cyrus didn't just build roads, cities, or armies. He built something greater. He built trust. He built identity. He built the philosophy of empire. One where diversity is not a weakness, but a strength. Where power is earned, not imposed. Where the people don't just serve the king, but believe in him. But no reign lasts forever, and no system is perfect. Cyrus would one day fall in battle, and the crown would pass to another. The next ruler would not be a founder, but a reformer, an organizer, a visionary in his own right. His name was Darius, and under him, Persia would reach its true peak, before it all came crashing down. This chapter may be over, but the story is far from finished. Watch the rest of the series on Tales Lost in Time, and continue the journey.